I had, but for some reason I was flying back to the base, which is on uh, the southern end of the island, because the northern end was closest to Japan. There was still some Japs stuff there in the jungle, and we were supposed to go up there on the ground. In fact, we had to load the barbed wire all over it, and we could fly over it, but we had to be very careful to get back. And this one time I had engine trouble, and they told me to go down and land off. Was it engine trouble or something?
Is that when the plane was smoking?
Yeah, that was it. I had smoke coming up and in the cockpit, and I was going to jump out, and I opened the window to jump out, and it stopped smoke, and of course it went out in the stream. And anyway, they told, when I called to the tower and told the trouble I had, they told me to go down and land on one of those islands that right off of the coast there, that which we used when we were invading Okinawa. And so I just turned the engine off and had a more or less glided. This big old heavy P-47 didn't glide very good. Was glided back down, and when I got into the pattern to land, I turned the engine back on in case I needed it. It was a good thing I did, because as I came around, there's a few landing strips on those islands off of Okinawa that they used during the invasion. As I came around, I didn't see it before, but as I come down to get ready to land, I saw the other P-47 up on its nose right at the runway. So I had to go around again and land. Or did I land somewhere else? I don't remember. But I got down there, and I was there for a little while. I tried calling in to tell them where I was at, and the little Piper Cub come by with the little guy who delivers messages and stuff, and he come down and he landed and he taxied over to where I was at, and he says, "What seems to be the trouble, Lieutenant?" And I says, "Well, I keep calling in, but they can't hear me." I said, "I don't know what," but I says, "I've got this thing, this just isn't flying." And he says, I heard you, that's the reason. He says, "I landed." He says, "I can't contact them from down here neither, but I'll go up and tell them which you are, and they'll send you somebody." And sure enough, they did. And this flight, our engineer, our flight squadron engineer, he came down in a B-25. It's a twin-engine bomber. It's a beautiful little airplane, by North America, yeah. And he landed down there, and he come over and asked me what was wrong, and I told him. And he went over and he started that plane up, and there wasn't a bit of smoke on it, and coming out of it. And he says, "Didn't see anything wrong with this, Lieutenant." He says, would you like to fly it back, or would you rather I did?" And I said, "Well, sir, if you don't," because he was a captain. I said, "Sir, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a ride in that B-25. I've always enjoyed that." And it was a good airplane too. I liked the looks of it. So I did get a ride in that. The other time I got a ride in a B-17 from Great Bend, Kansas down to some little town down there. I forget the name, but now I should know.
So what happened to the smoking plane?
Oh yeah, this captain or flight engineer of our squadron, he come down and he started up and no smoke. And he says, "Would you want to fly back or should I?" And I said, "Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to ride in your B-17, B-25 medium bomber." That's what it was. I always, by North America, I always did like the looks of that airplane. And I told him, I'd assume, I just went ride that B-25, and he says, okay, and so he put me into it and put me back. Then he told me later that all the wiring in my right wing panel had burnt out. And besides 4 machine guns coming through that panel, there was a gasoline tank in there. If there had been a leak, it would have leaked. But there was no gas leak, that's good. But I don't know why it was smoking so much, I don't remember now.